Do you believe in God?
Hell no.
Why not?
I would conclude that people have a belief in God to answer the basic questions of humanity. Where did I come from? Why am I here? Where am I going? How humans came into existence has perplexed mankind since the beginning. We don't know the answers honestly. The biggest claim that I want to make is that no one knows the absolute truth of these questions. I believe that the belief in God came into existence to explain these questions.
Why do you say that?
We have seen through the pattern of history that once people are amazed, can't explain or understand something, they account it to some form of deity. For example, people used to believe rainstorms were the gods crying because they didn't know how to understand or interpret it. Some still hold the belief that storms are punishments sent from God. Now we know that precipitation is a normal process of the water cycle. We can explain it scientifically. However, there remain some questions we still cannot answer, like, what happens after death? Just because we can't explain it right now, do we need to assume God is a part of it? Could we someday answer this question? If we do, how will religion change its beliefs accordingly to fit in with what is actually the case? I have found that when most people find something that we currently can't explain, they assume it is made by God, is an act of God, or account it to God in some way. We may someday answer the questions we account to God today. Just because we don't know now doesn't mean we must implicate God as the answer. Although rain couldn't be explained thousands of years ago, it does not change the fact that it is merely a part of the water cycle. God can never be used as an assumption when all other current resources are drained.
I never thought of it that way. You bring up an interesting point.
Let's just assume for a minute that God does exist. Does it really answer the question of where we came from? No, this just circumvents the question while giving us a lot of harder questions to answer. God exists. But who created him? And the being who created him, who created him? We can continue to ask, but somewhere we come to the question, how did it all start? How was the first God created? No religion I have heard of has ever attempted to answer this question. Growing up as a Mormon, every time this question was brought up, we were told that we don't know, it wasn't important to know, and that someday we would know. In the end, the question why am I here was never answered. So God created me, you say. So if that's true, God is purely a medium of creation and did not initiate the first creation. There must be a creation behind God. I know why I am here, supposedly, but how is God there? How is his God there? What made the first God there? That is the real question we are asking when we ask where we came from. Religion does not answer the real question at hand, but appears to answer it by assuming it to a higher power, but never accounts for how that higher power came to be, thus causing our own creation. Is it not better to assume our existence did not come from a higher power and observe our physical world for the answers of life, as opposed to assuming the existence of a world we don't understand and can prove? If we create such a world and call it heaven, we can say and believe whatever we want because it is not observable or testable. I believe we must use Occam's razor in answering such vital questions. Why am I here? This question is prideful. It is based on a huge assumption that we have a purpose. But I propose other questions. How do we even know that we have a purpose? Why do we need a purpose? When you look at ants, do you believe they have a purpose for being here? What about potato bugs? What about dogs or elephants? Somewhere along the line, humans begin to see creatures as having a purpose.